Hello and welcome to a special edition of the Agribusiness Report. I'm Brandon Blue. Today we're joined by Secretary Bill Northey, Iowa Secretary of Agriculture. Iowa voters recently elected him to a third term. Mr. Secretary, thanks for being with us.
Great to be with you, Brandon.
Now, I was hoping to talk to you a little bit about a look ahead at your next term and kind of what you expect. I wanted to start with broad strokes and just kind of talk to you about that. What do you expect to kind of come across your plate here in this next term?
I know we'll be surprised about some of the things. Things just happen. Issues come about. We certainly are working on ethanol issues like we were 4 or 8 years ago, but those are different now. We have an RFS and a challenge to the RFS. Hopefully sometime in the next little while we'll have we'll know what an RFS number is for 2014. But certainly our water quality issues, our soil conservation issues, we look to continue to step that up and be able to grow that. We look at other federal issues, certainly the regulatory issues, waters of the U.S. coming from EPA, some of the challenges there, some trade opportunities. So and I guess one of my kind of background issues is making sure I get out to the country, hear what's going on, and then telling that story of Iowa agriculture and making sure that people appreciate what's happening out in the countryside.
Now, kind of unresolved at the end of your last term was the issue of water quality funding. It's still one-time appropriations from the state. Do you think that that's going to change? If so, how?
We had a background amount that started off at $2.4 million and then $4.4 million this year out of the general fund. We're going to make a request to grow that a little bit and be able to have something more like a cost share. Although it's done every year, we generally expect about $6.5 million or so, or 6.75 this last year in cost share amount. We think a similar amount should come forward on water quality efforts. I think there'll be other conversations about how a sustainable funding approach would look. We certainly want to be a part of those conversations. It's got to be politically viable in the atmosphere that we're in, but it's also certainly very important to be able to help plan, and these are not one-time projects. We'd love to be able to engage in a way where we have more predictable funding over time.
Certainly. To kind of conclude in broad strokes, what do you think the final or the hurdles are going to be that you encounter in this next term that you're going to have to overcome?
Well, some of them probably will pop up on their own. We didn't see RFS as being that much of a hurdle in the ethanol industry. I think there'll be some of those kinds of things. We maybe have a little different environment right now, so maybe the regulatory efforts from Washington will change here just a little bit. Right now, we're fighting an EPA and the impact that the waters of the U.S. would have. We are entering into these next 4 years at a time of lower grain prices, and so financially for farmers, this is a very different time than 4 years ago. Thankfully, our livestock producers are doing well, but we're going to have some readjustment in input prices, land rents, cash rents, land prices themselves as well. So we'll have some readjustment in this period. I guess none of us can know what prices are going to look like 4 years from now, but at least we're entering into this time in a little tougher financial situation, at least looking at 2015.
Absolutely. Mr. Secretary, thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Brandon.
And thank you for being with us on the Agribusiness Report.